On today's episode of the Luke Loses podcast, A Handful of Diets, I found a list that claims it has the top 7 diets for 2021 to help you get in shape. I hope you enjoy it. What's up, losers? I am Luke, and this is Luke Loses. Now, being a loser, that's a good thing, because we're losing the weight, we're losing the unhealthy lifestyle, and we're losing that negative image we have for ourselves. Please remember, I'm just a normal guy. I have no fitness or nutrition education. Everything I talk about is from looking on the internet and asking questions. Don't forget to check out my website, www.lukelosespodcast.com. That's got my social media as well as links to where you can listen to this podcast. And you can also listen to this podcast directly off the website. You can also call the loser line. That phone number is 323-920-LUKE or 5853. Call that number, send it a message, leave me tips, topic ideas, concerns, whatever's on your mind, and I will try to address it in a future episode. I recently got in some stickers that say the Luke Loses podcast, and what I plan on doing with them is if you go over to Apple Podcast and leave me a rating and a review, send me a screenshot of your review, and I will send you a free Luke Loses podcast sticker. And if you've already filled out a review for me, send me a screenshot of it, and I will get you a sticker. The music we're listening to right now is by Jake Simmons and the Little Ghosts. Check them out. I will leave the link to all their locations in the description of this episode. Also, if you or someone you know would make a good fit as a guest on the podcast, I would love to have a conversation with you or them. Hit me up, send me their name, give them my information, and we can have a conversation about getting you on. Like I said in the beginning, today's episode is called A Handful of Diets, and I went through and I found some diets that claim to be really good for you to lose weight this year that are really popular right now. I'll go through the list, explain what they are. We can talk about accountability and how to stay accountable, as well as how to find the right diet that fits for you. One thing I want to say before we jump into the diets is there's no magic pill out there. There's nothing that's going to make you magically lose the weight, and even more so, keep the weight off. When you see these things online, there's a certain brand, again, I don't know with like legal, I'm not going to say their name, but there is a pill that you can buy online, and I've also seen it at a big box store, and I've actually bought it. It's supposed to help you lose weight, but I looked into it, and all it is a fiber pill. And what fiber does is it swells in your stomach so you feel full, so you're not eating as much. If you seriously want to get supplements, you can look at options where, like, I have a fiber pill. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like an elephant foot root is what it's called or something. And it turns to a gel in your stomach so you stay full for longer and faster so you're not eating as much. There are supplements out there that are really good for you, but none of them are just going to make you lose weight, right? None of them are going to do what you need to do to just lose weight, right? There are things that you can take that will help you lose weight. They can help the process, but they're not going to do it for you. So I just wanted to get that out there before we started. One thing I heard somewhere along the line was there is no magic pill out there. You are the magic pill. If you look at the money that the weight loss industry makes, it's ridiculous because so many people want to lose weight. I don't think there's anybody out there that hasn't tried to lose weight or go on a diet before. Don't fall for the gimmicks when it comes to weight loss. Evaluate these diets carefully to find the right one for you. So that is important to look into these diets. Don't just say, hey, my buddy's doing keto, I'm going to do keto, or hey, I'm just going to count calories, or whatever the case may be. Look into it. See what works for you, because what works for you might not work for me. What works for me might not work for that person. it doesn't hurt to look into these things. And that's why I wanted to do this episode, to where I can look into some of them, give my opinion that really doesn't mean anything, but I'm going into this just like you are. One thing you can do to help you pick the right diet is talk to your doctor. Get your doctor involved in your weight loss efforts. Talk to them, see what they recommend, see what options are out there that work for you, whether you've got high blood pressure or heart disease, whatever the case may be. Something that you can do that your doctor, who's educated, can tell you this is the right path. Also, consider your personal needs. Think about diets you've tried, what your preferences are, like what you want to give up, what you want to work on, your budget. Some of these diets are expensive. There's certain things out there that you could be doing that might cost a little bit of money to get you where you need to be. Other considerations are, do you have a health condition such as diabetes, heart disease, or allergies? You have to look at those with certain diets to make sure that you're even able to do those diets. Another thing you want to look into is what's involved, what kind of plan it is, what are you going to have to do? Like I said a minute ago, what are you going to have to give up? What are you going to have to buy more of? Look at it all as a whole. What's behind the diet? Look at the research and the science that back the diet. Also, what are the risks? Is there issues that could cause harm to your health? And what is the results going to be? What kind of results does this diet offer? I don't know what the statistics are, but successful weight loss requires long-term changes to your eating habits and your physical activity, right? For all the times that I've lost the over 400 pounds and then I gained it all back, the diets and the eating that I did was not sustainable. It was something that I couldn't keep going. I was doing, I don't know if I've talked about it before. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it, but 1,200 calories. That is starving myself. And I was burning 1,700 calories in the gym. It worked. It was amazing. I was feeling great. I lost 100 pounds in 6 months. But the moment I quit exercising and the moment I started eating the bad food again, I ballooned right up and I gained all that weight back plus some. You hear it over and over and over again. What is the main thing with weight loss? And it's consistency. What is something that you can be consistent with? And what is something that you are going to be okay with doing for long term? Because I know it sounds cliche, but it's a lifestyle change. I'm changing the way that I'm eating now. I am changing the way that I look at food now. And hopefully for the rest of my life, I can have a good relationship with food where I'm not using it to cope. I'm not using it to soothe my emotional needs. And I'm not overeating and binging. So this is something I'm going to have to work on forever. And the ways that I'm going about it, is it something I can do? I have to remember that. I've mentioned it before, but what I'm doing for my eating is I eat whatever I want. If I want fast food, I have fast food. If I want pizza, I have pizza, but I try to eat like a normal person. And again, I always say it, I say it in quotes, normal person, because I'm somebody that would have that healthy relationship with food. Someone who's not going to binge eat, someone who's not going to just overdo it. And that's my goal. So I try to stay at or below 2,500 calories a day. That just doesn't seem to be working for me lately. So that's why I wanted to do this diet episode. So it's something I can look into. And I hate the word diet. I hate saying, oh, I'm on a diet, but what I'm doing isn't working the way that I want it to. So I'm here to look at my other options. Another huge factor in your diet and your weight loss and how to keep going is to remain accountable and ways to hold yourself accountable, right? So I do the podcast, I have the Instagram and all my social media, and I put out there the truth. I'm not lying to myself. I'm not lying to you guys. I'm being honest. And that really helps me be accountable because I'm disappointing myself when I disappoint others. So that's why I do this, is to hold me accountable. Number one is know your why. Your why is the most important step in holding yourself accountable. Also write it down. My first interview, Adam Bartasis. He brought up, write down that goal, write down that weight that you want, put it everywhere. So for me, right now it's going to be 270 because I want to be 270. I know when I talk to Corey Little, he's like, the numbers are stupid, but that's what I want to do. Adam mentioned put that number everywhere. Put it on the dashboard of your car. Put it on the refrigerator. Put it on your nightstand. Put it everywhere so you can see it. Every day you can look at that number and your goal. Set milestones, mini goals, and create a schedule. Make those mini goals like I do, the 15 pounds. Set that up because that is going to help you succeed. Celebrate those accomplishments. So instead of doing a 100-pound weight loss as your goal, like I do the 15. So when you hit those 15, you can celebrate and you're going to do more of those. You're going to do more celebrating. Also, look for the signs of you being a procrastinator. Look for the signs that say you are being a little bit lazy right now. And also, like I do, seek feedback. Try to find a way to bring it up in conversation. Get people to notice that you're doing it. Even if it's good for you, that's awesome. It's going to make you feel good and it's going to make you want to keep going. All right, so that was like the little warm up before we get into the diet. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. The link, I will share it in the description of this episode, but it says, here's a look at 7 of the best diets that can help you achieve your body goals this year. And the number one, well, before I say number one, again, these are all new to me. I found this website. I browsed over it. I want to learn what these are while I'm sharing it with you guys. Number 1 is the paleo diet, also known as the caveman diet. It recommends eating foods that were consumed by our ancestors before all the processed foods and whatnot came into play. So it says that you have to give up sugar, processed foods, grain, and dairy. The objective is to reduce the carbs in your system and increase protein so that your body begins using fat to produce glucose and use that for energy. So I'm not 100% positive on this, but I believe that's a lot like keto from what I've heard and seen along the way. And keto's on this list, so I'll talk about that as well. Among the foods that can be eaten are vegetables, nuts, fish, eggs, meat of grass-fed animals. Fruits are the only source of sugar. Studies have shown that this diet can help reduce weight, but research indicates that there isn't enough evidence on the impact of your overall health. So the second one on the list is the Mediterranean diet, and it is vegetable heavy. It recommends meat intake in limited quantities. The diet is drawn from the eating habits of cultures from around the Mediterranean Sea, which includes foods such as whole grains, nuts, fruits, and olive oil. Oil is recommended as much as possible to reduce the need for butter. Red meat is limited and fish is preferred. Yogurt and cheese are 2 of the types of dairy products you are able to eat in moderate quantities. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition study, the Mediterranean diet does help with weight loss. The diet, however, was not significantly designed for weight reduction and was seen as more effective for heart health. Well, that's interesting. This next one is the DASH diet, considered by many experts as one of the best dietary regimens. DASH stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. It was created by the National Institute of Health, an agency for the United States Department of Health and Human Services. The core objective of this diet is to prevent high blood pressure. It also helps in improving the overall health with its balanced food recommendations. I do have high blood pressure, so this might be something I'm interested in. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, low-fat dairy products make up for most of the diet. Lean protein-rich foods such as chicken, fish, and beans are allowed in limited quantities. Low in fat, added sugar, salt, and red meat. The DASH diet was recognized as a healthy diet. Now, this is one that I've heard of, but I've never really looked into at all because I actually thought it was a joke because of keto. It's the super carb diet. If you can follow the discipline of eating certain foods at specific times, the super carb diet can be an effective way to reduce weight and retain energy throughout the day. Designed by a celebrity trainer. Oh, the celebrity trainer from The Biggest Loser, Bob Harper. I'm a big fan of that show. I like watching those shows that always give you hope and motivate. But he planned the diet after suffering his heart attack in 2017 and also wrote a book about it. And I'll leave the link to that book in the description. In the system, processed foods are avoided entirely. Fiber-dense carbohydrates are consumed with the macronutrient broken down into 40% protein, 30% of each complex carb, and fat in every meal. So when you're on the super carb diet, it says that most of your carbs are to be eaten earlier in the day. According to Harper, the foods eaten in this diet are usually the same ones consumed in the Mediterranean-style diet. Now, for the South Beach diet, it's a modified low-carbohydrate diet developed in the mid-90s by a Florida-based cardiologist. And this diet was created to help the diabetic, overweight, and pre-diabetic individuals to help reduce the risk of heart disease. This diet works in 3 phases. The food to consume are slightly different every time, and there is no elimination of carbohydrates entirely. Unless one severely restricts the intake of healthy carbohydrates, the South Beach diet is found to be generally safe. Here's one that I hear a lot, and I've mentioned that I'm afraid to try it because of the way I binge. It's intermediate fasting. It involves fasting for a specific duration between 2 meals, 16 and 8, so 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating time, in which the food is consumed within 8 hours. So for me, the reason I'm scared of that is if I have 8 hours to eat my calorie intake, and actually that 16-8 isn't one that I hear of a lot. It's usually like 20 and 4 for the people that I've talked to. So they fast for 20 hours and they have 4 hours to eat. And you're still at a certain calorie range. They don't want you to go over these calories. It's not like you can just go crazy. If I'm to eat 2,500 calories in a 4-hour window, that scares me. So there was a study done that said there was a group that followed the 16 and 8 method had lower insulin level. It improved their insulin sensitivity and lower blood pressure. Decreased appetite was also noted in the first group. It does note here that weight loss has been observed in some people who have tried this fasting, but fasting as a method is not meant for those who are underweight, nutrient deficient, pregnant, children, teenagers, breastfeeding mothers, or even those sensitive to a drop in blood sugar levels. And last but not least is the keto diet. The keto diet uses fat as the source of energy and for the 90% of daily calorie intake. The goal is to make the liver produce fuel in the form of ketone bodies, which are created from stored fat. Thus, fat is recommended in each meal, the ratio of which depends on the particular need of the body. Food allowed is tofu, nuts, olive oil, avocados, seeds, along with high amounts of butter, palm or coconut oil, lard, beef, bacon, eggs, fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, low-carb fruits, and vegetables such as berries, cauliflower, broccoli, and asparagus. The foods that are consumed in this diet easily fill the person up. This is why it will reduce hunger, which will cause you to lose weight. Since it's high in saturated fat, it can result in heart disease if meals are not regulated. The lack of vegetables and fruits cause deficiencies in essential micronutrients such as vitamin B and C. And it also says if you have existing liver problems, they might be aggravated to this diet. With the keto diet, there's so many people that do it. If you go on Instagram and type in weight loss or fat loss, so many of the people that are on there do the keto diet. I've known tons of people. I'm sure you know so many people that are keto. This gives me a lot to look at. I'm leaning towards the keto diet, to be honest. I'm thinking about trying it. I don't know if I'm gonna, but I'm thinking about it. So that is my episode for a handful of diets. I hope you found something in here that can help you, educate you, or help you find the right path for you. If there was anything in here that you did find interesting or educational, please go over to Apple Podcast and leave me a review. I would appreciate it so much. And if you go over to Apple Podcast and leave me a rating and a review, send me a screenshot of it and I will mail you a sticker, Luke Loses Podcast sticker. Don't forget to go to my website, lukelosespodcast.com, and you can call the loser line, 323-920-LUKE or 5853. Call that number, go to the website. You can send me a message right there. Send me tips, topic ideas, concerns, whatever the case may be. If you just want to talk, hit me up there. The music that you're hearing right now is by Jake Simmons and the Little Ghosts. I will leave all their links in the description of this episode. So that is that. As always, stay positive, do the work, trust the process, and I will see you next week.